I'm about to share with you my top 5 songs for the month of October. Song number 5 would be Brutal by Olivia Rodrigo. Alright, so I've kind of been already listening to the song a lot since July, but I still feel like it ranks for a good spot in this video, so how could I not put it in as number 5? I really like this song because it adds a tone of grunge that we don't necessarily get to hear from a lot of pop artists today. But that's just the thing. Olivia Rodrigo is a pop artist, and like Demi Lovato, she also implements rock and punk into her pop-like songs, which this is a pop style that I absolutely love. And really, I'm just a sucker for punk rock guitar, drums, and some rock and roll vocals. I love the way the studio version is mixed, especially with the tonal balance between the guitar and the bass when the song first starts off with like just the mixture of the electric guitar and the bass together, such a nice crunch to it. And the style of that grunge, in my opinion, really makes Olivia Rodrigo stand out from most of the pop artists we hear today. Olivia Rodrigo, in general, has a very gifted voice. I really enjoy her vocal tone and how her voice makes you feel. Whether you're listening to Driver's License, Good For You, or One Step Forward, Two Steps Back, her voice just always seems to have some sort of energy and presence that you just don't want to stop listening to her. Her voice is like a good storyteller, if that makes sense. Alright, song number 4. Here We Go Again by Demi Lovato. For those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for a while, you probably already had an idea that that song was going to be on the list. I really like this song because it takes me back to my childhood in a sense. I remember listening to this song when I was a teenager, and it just seemed like there weren't as many guys my age, like young teenager, that seemed to listen to the song and appreciate it as much as I did. Now granted, it was Demi Lovato, and when you're in a young teenage age, maybe you do enjoy that type of music, but you're just like, no, I don't care for that, I like this stuff, because Demi Lovato, why would I like her? Like, you know, the immature side, the side you don't want to let out as a teenager. But I could be wrong. Maybe I have a ton of friends from my teenage years that, you know, they liked Demi Lovato and they just never said anything, or just was never brought up in conversation. This song just brings back a lot of early 2000s and late 90s rock vibes. It picks up a ton of energy fast, and Demi Lovato just does a great job of delivering through her strong vocals. There's also something about the intro guitar solo that just always stood out to me. I don't know why. It could be the melody, but I've just always admired that intro guitar solo. I happen to have a guitar cover of Here We Go Again that you can find on my YouTube channel by clicking on the card you see above my head. Song number 3. The song is called Manic by Wage War. This song is definitely in the metal genre, and for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, I don't know how many of you are interested in metal music, considering the majority of the time I post acapella stuff and acoustic-like stuff. But there's a big side of me that loves metal music. I first learned about the song when I was listening to Wage War's entire album, which ironically is called Manic, but I heard the introduction of the song, and the introduction just sounded so different than any other metal song out there. It wasn't like your typical guitar, bass, and drum solo, but it was like a build-up, like boom, ba ba cha boom, ba boom, ba ba cha boom, ba boom, ba ba cha boom. But it wasn't necessarily that either. I don't really know how to explain it. But if you're interested in listening to what the song sounds like, then I'll have a link provided down below. But yeah, the song just immediately captures my attention, like every time it comes on. There's just something about the way the song doesn't start with a gent-like pattern. And for those of you who aren't familiar with gent is like the rhythm guitar and bass and drums together. The da-da-da, 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 da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Like, it's just, consider gent like a rhythmic pattern in a sense. It's the type of pattern that makes you bang your head when listening to rock. But yeah, the introduction starts out small, very subtle, and then bam, it just hits you in the face, and I love it. The song overall just delivers a ton of hype energy, in my opinion, and that's one of the main reasons I love metal music so much. And whoever mixed this song in the studio did an absolutely incredible job, because I mean, the vocals bring their own style and touch, which makes the song sound so distinct and different. I mean, whenever this song plays in my car, I almost never skip it. The only time I actually do skip it is when I'm like, I want to listen to something else, like a different genre. Love the song. I highly suggest you listen to it if you're also a fan of metal. By the way, if you guys have been enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more music-related content coming to you soon. Song number 2 is Hungry Like the Wolf by Amaru. It's kind of funny how I learned about this song because out of all places, you wouldn't expect to learn about this song from that place. Well, maybe you might, but I first heard this song when I was browsing through the costume section of the Spirit of Halloween store. I was with my good friend and we were having a conversation of some sort, as most friends would, and I heard the song come on after, you know, a typical pop song that played on the radio like 10 years ago. But I hadn't heard this song before, at least this version of Hungry Like the Wolf. I've listened to Duran Duran's version like millions of times. I would assume you guys have listened to it as well. But there was something different about Amaru's take and style the way they covered this song. There was something I really enjoyed about the introduction, and it wasn't like your typical heavy rock that boom ba ba da 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 and like just goes crazy. It was very subtle, but yet it already had the momentum that it needed. Then I heard the lead vocals, and I was instantly hooked. I think the reason I was so hooked is the vocals reminded me of that typical rock vocal tone from the early 2000s. For those of you who enjoy the early 2000s rock music just as much as I do, I invite you to listen to the song, which will be provided in my video description, and I want you to tell me from your perspective if the vocals sound very similar to that typical male rock voice of the early 2000s. But yeah, I just really like this song because the song builds a ton of momentum while the momentum is already flowing. It's kind of weird to describe, but that's honestly one of the best ways I can describe it. So again, if interested in listening to the song, I'll have a link provided down below. Alright, and now the moment you've all been waiting for. Song number 1. What has been my favorite song from the month of October in the year 2022? The song is called My Heart Will Go On, performed by Future Sunsets and David Michael Frank. Now, if you haven't heard of David Michael Frank, then I highly advise you to go check out his YouTube channel. The link to his channel will also be provided down below. He is just an absolutely phenomenal singer. He's just filled with so much talent and energy and musical passion, and he really cares about his community. Like, my first time learning about him was when I got to see Halocene live at the Crescent Ballroom in Phoenix, Arizona. And he was one of the guest singers that performed with Halocene. And get this, my first time hearing his voice was live. Already outstanding as it is, like nothing can compare to that. And then when I listened to the studio version of his song My Heart Will Go On, it's like nothing even changed. There's like no auto-tune, and his energy is just always there, just always grabbing onto you and telling his story with the best he can. He just has a really great way of showing connection and interacting with his audience through the camera. The way he delivers his music is just absolutely incredible in my opinion. And he's pretty good at selling merchandise. Because I mean, when I saw him live at the Crescent Ballroom, he was like, hey, get this shirt right over there at the merchandise table, because if you get it, that'll be a connection between you and I that we were both here at this concert. And it's like, bro, how can I not get that shirt now? I was planning to get it anyway, but like, he definitely sold it. I do have my own music streaming on all music streaming platforms, so be sure to type in Jeffrey Hack, or you can find a link down below to find that music. If you enjoyed your time with me on this video, then I encourage you to check out some of my music video reactions. Just click or tap the playlist you see right next to me. And I also encourage you to check out some covers right below it. If you would like to show more support for this channel like my friend Linda, then you could become a Patreon supporter. You can find the link to my Patreon down below as well. I hope you guys enjoyed your time, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.